Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
$1 million, free to play. You just need to survive. It's the Fanatics NFL Survivor Pool. Pick one team to win each week. Get it right, move on. Get it wrong, you're out. The last fan standing take home a guaranteed $1 million cash prize. And for every player who joins, we add $1 to the pot, up to $10 million. The Fanatics NFL Survivor Pool. Play free on the Fanatics app. App access open to all. Must be 21 plus and joined by 9/8 to play. No purchase necessary, U.S. only, void where prohibited. Subject to complete terms, see fanatics.com/game rules.
The Roger Stone Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Roger Stone Show. Joining me now is Liz Crokin. Liz Crokin is an award-winning author, an independent investigative journalist, and a documentary film producer, best known for her relentless work exposing sex trafficking. Liz executive produced Slave Princess, released in the fall of 2021. That documentary film covered Britney Spears' illicit conservatorship and the systematic corruption surrounding media, Hollywood, and the government in that controversy. But in the spring of 2020, she appeared in the viral documentary Out of Shadows, which has now been viewed by over 100 million people globally and translated into over 24 languages. Now, they did everything humanly possible to censor this film, to remove it from the internet. It is a film you must see, Out of the Shadows. But I invited Liz here today because I saw her post last night on social media where she said, President Trump is calling out the Democrats who did nothing to stop Jeffrey Epstein. Instead, they befriended him, they took money from him, they socialized with him, and they went to his pedophile island. Now the Democrats are launching their Epstein hoax with the chief snake, Hillary Clinton operative Gloria Allred at the helm, attempting to disparage Trump by falsely labeling him as an accomplice of Epstein and falsely accusing him of being a pedophile. I covered this topic myself very extensively in my 2015 book, The Clintons' War on Women. I'm aware of the fact that Donald Trump first cut Jeffrey Epstein off actually in late 2004, before he was exposed as a sex criminal in Florida, before he was charged with sex crimes in Florida. And that, if the Democrats are successful in getting full disclosure of Epstein's list of guests to his orgy island, he's going to find mostly Democrats. President Bill Clinton, Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, U.S. Senator George Mitchell, the one-time Senate Majority Leader, Governor Bill Richardson, and others. Liz, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Hi, Roger. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for having me on to expose this Jeffrey Epstein Democrat hoax, which is ridiculous, and they are just spewing so many lies about President Trump, and it makes my blood boil because they're using victims to attack President Trump. And yes, not only is Gloria Allred, who is a known Hillary Clinton operative, who has been working with Hillary Clinton, which was proven, by the way, in emails that were released by WikiLeaks years ago. She's been a proven Hillary Clinton operative who has been working against President Trump going back to at least 2016. Now, Gloria Allred has also represented many women who have made false sexual assault claims against President Trump. In addition to that, allegedly and reportedly, these women were paid to lie and slander President Trump. Furthermore, I will add that her snake lawyer, or so-called lawyer, daughter, Lisa Bloom, also paid women to make false allegations against President Trump. This is going back years, and this has been reported even in the mainstream media.
Yeah, it is the greatest single hoax. It's interesting that when you see the comments on social media, there's a concerted effort here to tie Donald Trump into something that he had nothing whatsoever to do with. I mean, we actually know the sequence of events here. Donald Trump cut Epstein off, as I say, in 2004, after he made an indecent approach to Virginia Roberts Jeffrey, who was then working at the spa at Mar-a-Lago. Now, I interviewed Virginia Roberts Jeffrey for 6 hours in 2 3-hour sessions. I also read every word of her sworn testimony. She was one of the victims who refused to settle for a multi-million-dollar payment and insisted in pursuing her lawsuit against Jeffrey Epstein. Now they tell us several months ago that suddenly she committed suicide. Having spent time with her, having read her testimony, understanding her resolve, frankly, I doubt that very, very much. But most interestingly, even though Ghislaine Maxwell was quoted the other day saying that Bill Clinton never visited Epstein's island, if you read the sworn testimony of Virginia Roberts Jeffrey, she was present while Bill Clinton was there, and Jeffrey Epstein flew in 2 16-year-old girls specifically for President Bill Clinton's amusement.
Yes, and I will also add there's tons of public record, and even the mainstream media has acknowledged that Bill Clinton has been to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island over 24 times. And I also will add that Eric Prince said in 2016 that Hillary Clinton went to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island as well, which should not be shocking because Bill and Hillary Clinton not only have been very close friends with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell for many, many years, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell also were associates of them who helped them launch the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation. And I will add that the Clinton Foundation is a front for child sex trafficking. And this has been proven. And this has been proven through evidence that has been discovered on Anthony Weiner's laptop going back to 2016. And that has also been validated and confirmed in the Inspector General's report that I believe came out in either 2018 or 2019. And in that Inspector General report, it read that the evidence that was found on Hillary Clinton's laptop proved that Hillary Clinton, her associates, and the Clinton Foundation were involved in crimes against children, including sex crimes against children. And we've had a lot of more revelations and documents that have come out to back this up recently.
Well, as you know, photographs prove that Ghislaine Maxwell was an honored guest when Chelsea Clinton married her husband, Mark Mesvinsky, who was the son of a disgraced Pennsylvania member of Congress. We also know that Maxwell headed the Tara Mar Foundation, which on paper was a pro-environmental nonprofit, but in fact was a grooming pool collecting young interns to be sexually exploited by Jeffrey Epstein. This entire story starts in the Sunshine State of Florida after a tip to the Palm Beach Police Department. Police Chief Michael Ryder conducts a 6-month undercover investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, and he turns over to the Palm Beach State's attorney an airtight case involving 33 underage girls, a case in which Epstein could have been charged with child sex trafficking. He also hands over a case in which Epstein could have been charged with statutory rape of at least 28 underage girls. The police chief is shocked when, after Epstein hires Alan Dershowitz, Gerald Lefcourt, Roy Black, and Ken Starr, three of the most prominent legal defense attorneys in the country, and Ken Starr, who'd been the special counsel in the Whitewater matter, a Republican, but he is shocked when they actually charge Epstein with one count of solicitation, which is like walking into a bar and trying to pick up a hooker. Hardly the seriousness of child sex trafficking. Only after the police chief complains does the state prosecutor bump that charge up to one count of soliciting of a minor. Between the time that Epstein is charged and the time he pleads, the Clintons take a $25,000 contribution from him for the Clinton Foundation. Chuck Schumer's also taken enormous thousands of dollars in campaign contributions from Epstein. So it is only then that the feds get this case, and for reasons that need to be explained and hopefully will be very soon before the House committee investigating this, the Attorney General of the United States, Alberto Gonzales, orders the U.S. Attorney in Miami, Alexander Acosta, to rubber stamp the state charges and seal the case, saying we don't want a political circus. I cover this very extensively in my book. Acosta, Gonzales, all of these people need to be subpoenaed to testify before the Congress.
Yes, and they have been, and we will be hearing from Alex Acosta, assuming he shows up later this month. So I would encourage people to watch that and pay very close attention to that. But I want to add, you mentioned the Clintons' close relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, and you know how Ghislaine Maxwell was close friends with Chelsea Clinton. She was photographed at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Well, an interesting fact here, Bradley Edwards, who is one of the attorneys who represented several Jeffrey Epstein victims, who, by the way, has said repeatedly and also put in his book that out of every single person that he contacted in Jeffrey Epstein's black book to see if they would help him with his case and his investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, there was only one person that helped him, and that man was Donald Trump. But going back to the Clintons and Ghislaine Maxwell, Bradley Edwards was trying to serve Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition years ago. And, Ghislaine or her lawyers claimed that she was out of the country, and it turns out she wasn't out of the country. She was lying, of course. And the only way they were able to track her down and find her is because they knew she would be at a Clinton Global Initiative event. And that is where she got served. And I will also add that in addition to Bill and Hillary Clinton repeatedly going to Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile island, they also routinely every year regularly would also take vacations at his New Mexico Zorro Ranch, another place where Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell abused women and children and did all other kinds of nefarious things at that compound.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to documentary filmmaker and investigative journalist Liz Crokin, and we'll be right back.
Now, it's time for Protecting Your Future, sponsored by Colonial Metals Group. Here's Roger Stone.
In these turbulent economic times, with the Federal Reserve stoutly refusing to cut interest rates on the American people, even though the unemployment rate and the inflation rate are either lower than or at the same level that they were the last 4 times the Fed cut rates, and continuing to print money like it's going out of style, with the Congress refusing to codify and make cuts in the billions of dollars, the trillions of dollars of waste identified by Elon Musk and Doge. Now is for the time for you to protect your future. Now is the time for you to protect your retirement, and you can do it with the strength of gold. Gold has always stood the test of times. You can convert all or part of your cash savings, your IRA or your 401k to gold, and you can do it tax-free. The people I trust to do this are the people at the Colonial Metals Group. Go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/stone. That's colonialmetalsgroup.com/stone, or go to freegoldguide.com and learn all about it. You'll be glad you did.
The Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, listen to this. All it needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Leading a business today means constantly adapting. On the Executive Insights podcast, brought to you by AWS, global leaders share how they're making tough calls, testing bold ideas, and putting innovation into practice, generative AI included. If you're looking for real stories behind what's working, this is it. Subscribe to the Executive Insights podcast today, available now on all major podcast platforms.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight? Aha! Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at canva.com.
The Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Roger Stone Show. We're talking to documentary filmmaker and investigative reporter Liz Crokin, one of the leading voices in the country against sex trafficking. Liz, I want to ask you about the P. Diddy case in Manhattan, because it seems to me that in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, it was the Trump administration that charged Jeffrey Epstein with 1 count of child sex trafficking and 1 count of conspiracy to engage in child sex trafficking. It was the Trump administration that charged Ghislaine Maxwell with child sex trafficking. And it was the Trump administration that ultimately tried P. Diddy. But all of these cases seems to me to have been affected by former U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. And it looked to me in the Diddy case like the government went out of their way to lose that case. What do you think?
Well, let me just start with one more thing I want to say in terms of President Trump in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump has been calling Jeffrey Epstein a hoax, but he's saying it's a Democrat hoax. He's saying it is a con job like Russiagate. Now, what President Trump means by this is that the Democrats are running this operation, this clown show, this psyop right now, where they are trying to falsely pin Jeffrey Epstein on President Trump. They are trying to imply that President Trump was one of his accomplices, and some people are going as far as accusing falsely President Trump for being a pedophile. Now, let me tell your audience something. President Trump has been working to take down Jeffrey Epstein and his ring for several years, long before he even ran for president, long before he even became president. We had Speaker Mike Johnson come out and say the other day that President Trump worked as an FBI informant to take out Jeffrey Epstein and his ring, in addition to the work that he did to help Jeffrey Epstein's victim's lawyer, Bradley Edwards, which I mentioned earlier. He also kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, which you mentioned that as well. And so FBI informant, he worked with Bradley Edwards, was the only one in Jeffrey Epstein's, entire black book that worked with Bradley Edwards. The only reason that Jeffrey Epstein's ring was beginning to be taken down was because of President Trump. During President Trump's first term, it was his DOJ that took down Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. It was his Attorney General, Jeffrey Sessions, who started the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. And I've been saying before President Trump even became president in 2016 that I firmly believe that one of the main reasons why President Trump ran for president was to take down Jeffrey Epstein and all of his elite pedophile pals and to combat child sex trafficking. And that was proven during his first term, because during his first term, he did more than any president to combat child sex trafficking. And he addressed this in the White House within weeks of him being sworn in 2017. Now, during his second term, he is continuing to break up all of these rings, and he will continue to take down Jeffrey Epstein's ring as well. Now, in terms of Diddy, I'm happy that he was at least found guilty on some counts. I'm disappointed that he wasn't found guilty on more counts. I'm also disappointed that there has not been any other co-conspirators from Diddy's ring that have been arrested yet. However, my sources have told me that we should expect people from Diddy's ring to get arrested, and also that we should expect that there will be more charges filed against Diddy.
All right, there we have it. The inimitable Liz Crokin, and she brings the heat. She's absolutely right. When President Trump says this is a hoax, he doesn't mean that Epstein wasn't a child sex trafficker. It was his DOJ that charged him with that crime. The hoax is that he has any personal involvement in it. It is a smear, a vicious smear. Liz Crokin knows it. I know it, and I'm delighted she could join us today to say it for you.
Absolutely, and I'll add one more thing real quickly. At press conference.
Sorry, we lost her there. God bless you, Liz. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening to The Roger Stone Show. You can hear The Roger Stone Show Sunday afternoons at 3. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?